He was the Tasmanian devil that came into town in a whirlwind of dust, and we were left in his wake. He worked us to death.
He had about 140, 150 guys on the team when he took over.
Every day, 3 or 4 people were leaving. You just waved at them on their way out the door. Guys were quitting left and right.
At the end of spring practice, he's down to about 75 or 80.
In the locker room, Bo had put up a sign that said, "Those who stay will be champions."
Those who stay will be champions. It is still the mantra by which every Michigan football player lives, because that sign still hangs in the locker room. It was Bo's sign.
When he came in, he knew the team he had to beat was Ohio State. Ohio State was the scourge of the Big Ten, the scourge of the country.
Ohio State is undefeated. They are the returning national champions. Sports Illustrated said they were so good, the only game worth watching right now in college football is Ohio State's offense versus their defense in full pad practice on Tuesday in Columbus. They were that overpowering.
200 miles to the north, those who stayed got off to an unspectacular 3-2 start. But 4 straight wins, in which they outscored their opponents 178-22, raised the Wolverines' confidence going into their season-ending matchup with the mighty Buckeyes, a game they had been thirsting for since Woody went for 2.
We had a great week of practice because we were all motivated by what Woody had done the previous year.
Bo made every player on the team practice with a sign taped to his helmet that said 50-14.
The score was posted all over the locker room.
And I made sure they didn't forget it. Every demonstration player that was playing against our first and second team, getting ready for that game, wore the number 50. Everybody was 50. That was embedded in the minds of these guys. That embarrassment was not going to last long.
103,588 fans in the Michigan Stadium in Ann Arbor.
I walked up to the press box. The guy jumps out and grabs me and shakes me and says, "We're going to beat your ass today, buddy."
The head coach of Ohio State, Woody Hayes.
I'm 11 and a half years old. I remember elbowing my dad and saying, "Dad, Woody can't hear you. We're in the 50th row."
OSU, a 17-point favorite, led early. But Michigan struck back with 2 Garvey Craw touchdowns, the second set up by Billy Taylor's electrifying run. Then an unheralded senior from tiny St. Ignace, Michigan, got a hold of the ball.
Goes to the 40. He may break this one.
He's running away from us. We're in the end zone, and I remember him just running, and we're kind of pushing him, go, go.
He's got a man blocking for him, cuts to the 10, and is down on the 4-yard line.
Barry Pearson's 60-yard return set up another score. The Wolverines held a 24-12 lead at the half. The first time all season that Ohio State trailed at intermission. And it only got worse, as Michigan's impenetrable defense snapped Ohio State's 22-game win streak and secured the biggest upset in the history of the rivalry.
They played a flawless football game. I swore Bo was in the huddle.
It is intercepted by Michigan's Barry Pearson.
Woody was befuddled that day. Bo Schembechler, the student, outcoached the teacher.
It was not a fluke. Michigan just flat out kicked their ass that day.
4, 3, 2, 1. They got Schembechler on their shoulders. Listen to the crowd go wild. Michigan upsets Ohio State. Believe it or not, the final score. Ripley couldn't have made it any better than this. Michigan 24, Ohio State 12.
There's an expression in German called Schadenfreude, which means joy in the misery of others. 40 years later, I feel Schadenfreude, joy that it still hurts the Buckeyes, what we did on that fateful November day in 1969.
That game kind of set it off. Woody was crushed that his greatest team would be beaten. When Ohio State got back from that huge loss at Ann Arbor in 1969, Woody Hayes went right to his office and began working that night on the 1970 game. Hayes had a huge rug made that he put outside the Ohio State dressing room that the players had to walk over as they went out to practice every day in the springtime. And that rug said, Michigan 24, Ohio State 12.
We walked across that damn rug every day.
I still have the bumper sticker saying, remember Ann Arbor. Cars would have them on the back, you'd be driving around. I mean, it was amazing.
When we got off that bus in Columbus, man, they were ready for us. There were signs on the dormitories. They were not G-rated.
Woody was as tight as a drum. Don't you know who we play this week? Don't you know who it is? My God, it's Michigan. It's Michigan. And he's crying, and tears are coming down his cheeks. And I thought, whoa, boy, the old man has really lost it. He's using Michigan, and he's using it repetitively.
The 70 battle in Columbus was a combination of all our frustrations that whole year. And it wasn't going to be pretty.
Out for blood, Ohio State disposed of Michigan 20-9. Fanning the flames of animosity between the schools were two men who brooded over the game with an angst that permeated through their programs and the regions as a whole. For the remainder of the decade, the regular season was mere window dressing for this annual year-end clash, a period remembered as the 10-year war.
It became more real, and it became more serious. And you spent your whole year, you spent your whole off season getting ready for that one game.
We thought of this one more than we have the rest of the season put together.
When he brought his team up here, he would tell one of his assistants, he says, would you please tell Coach Schembechler that I'm ready to meet him at the 50-yard line. He would not cross the 50. And so I'd shake hands across the 50. Hi, Woody, hi, Mo. And that was it. For 10 years.
I want to beat him. He's no friend of mine.
The one thing that he said that really stuck out with me is he said, this is more than a game. This is war.
Everything happens. You've got it all. Intrigue, injustice, devastation.
You can go straight to hell.
Every storyline possible.
Bo Schembechler has to be restrained.
Woody Hayes is furious. He is screaming.
He just ripped up the downs marker. I mean, who does that? Woody Hayes did that.
A 10-7 Michigan victory in 1971 was the first in a series of blood-boiling close calls. In 1972, a defiant Schembechler twice passed up easy field goals, only to twice be denied at the goal line, resulting in a 14-11 Ohio State win. Both schools entered the 1973 matchup undefeated, as the fourth-ranked Wolverines played the top-ranked Buckeyes to a 10-10 tie. Statistically, Michigan dominated and fully expected a trip to the Rose Bowl. But a vote by Big Ten athletic directors sent Ohio State instead. The slight infuriated Schembechler, who insisted his team was robbed.
This is the lowest day in my athletic career, either as a player or a coach, because I am bitterly resentful at the way this thing was handled.
Painfully reminiscent of two crucial misses in the 73 game, Mike Lantry's just inches-wide kick, as time expired on the 74 showdown, left Michigan with a 2-point loss.
Lantry walks disconsolately to the sideline.
It concluded an excruciating 3-year stretch for the Wolverines, in which they won every one of their games, except for those against the Buckeyes.
But Arch, I felt you had another great day today, and he'd rather have that victory than all those 31 games put together. Isn't that right? Sure.
A local high school legend, raised in the shadows of the horseshoe, Archie Griffin rushed for over 5,500 yards in his 4 seasons as a Buckeye. And despite being college football's only 2-time Heisman Trophy winner, he regards his 3 gold pants as his most satisfying awards. His last pair came in 1975, which gave the Buckeyes a 4-2-1 advantage in the 10-year war.